the 6 ways I knew I had diabetes even before my doctor confirmed it. So, how did I know I had diabetes? Well, one way was I grew up with a family history of diabetes. My grandfather, who had diabetes and gave himself 2 of these huge glass syringe injections a day, one in the morning and one at night, in the legs. It was really scary to me as a boy. I asked him why he needed those nasty shots, and he said, well, because he had type 2 diabetes. I asked him, how did you get diabetes? He said, as a young man, he worked at an ice cream shop, and he ate lots of ice cream as a young man. Well, today, I know that probably isn't the reason he had type 2 diabetes, but I will later in this video explain more details and other videos following as to how people typically get type 2 diabetes. Now, I will try to explain from a non-medical, non-formally educated, trained person viewpoint. Now, I have lived and almost died several times from type 2 diabetes. So I will try and help you understand type 2 diabetes without all the boring, dry, overeducated details, and try to give you a real world, live life experience viewpoint that you hopefully can really benefit from. But always remember to consult your doctor or trained medical advisor for real type 2 diabetes care. Number 2, I have been overweight most of my life. I was a fat kid and an overweight teenager, and as a young man, I was very overweight. And as I age, I became morbidly obese, as the medical community likes to say. By the time I was pushing 375 pounds. Now, I know I was likely to get type 2 diabetes with that kind of weight and other issues, but that's where I was. Reason number 3 that I knew I had type 2 diabetes. Most of my childhood's diet consisted of cereal, toast, pasta like mac and cheese, and fast food. Lots and lots of carbohydrates. I would say I ate the standard American diet, or SAD diet. As I grew up to be a young adult in my 20s and 30s, I had a great paying job and would treat myself to fast food all the time. Big Macs, Jumbo Jack with cheese, large fry, onion rings, you name it, I enjoyed it. Number 4 reason I knew I had diabetes before my doctor did. But really, I never did much exercise. I was always overweight most of my life. And my total exercise really consisted of walking out to my car, driving to work, walking from my car in the parking lot to my job site and back. And then that was literally all that I really ever did. I usually would go to drive-thrus, and I rarely ever walked anywhere. And it was just a rinse and repeat day in and day out. I did very little physical exercise. After a while, with all my previous issues that we've discussed in this video with virtually no physical exertion, physical activity, I could start to see the pattern and the path towards type 2 diabetes. Reason number 5, I knew I had diabetes before my doctor, was because I started noticing more frequent urination. much more than normal. I mean, as an adult male in my early 30s, I kind of knew what was normal, but, you know, I was going a lot more frequently, and I noticed I became a lot thirstier than normal. Now, I didn't drink much water. I virtually drank none. Most of what I drank were big gulps of pure, regular Coca-Cola, regular Dr. Pepper, along with any other full sugar, full caffeine soda drink that I could find. They were all loaded with sugar. I never drank diet sodas. To me, they tasted just foul. Reason number 6 that I knew I was getting type 2 diabetes before my doctor diagnosed it was because I started feeling extremely low on energy. I was often fatigued and just worn out, and I always kind of, more so than normal, but I always felt it was, well, I'm just working a lot at work and I'm just, busy guy type of thing. But it was more than that. And all of these signs seem to painfully obvious in hindsight and today, and it's shockingly surprised what poor care I gave my health back in those days. Our human body is a miracle from God. I believe this, and is able to withstand an enormous amount of physical abuse. The physical abuse that we give our bodies can go on for many years, sometimes, and sometimes it can't. And many years of serious self-inflicted physical abuse, I believe, developed into my type 2 diabetes. It was several months that I put off seeing my doctor, noticing all these signs and symptoms, but eventually I really knew inevitable diagnosis of type 2 diabetes. I finally decided to go see my physician, as I had virtually no doubt in my mind that I had type 2 diabetes. He did a routine glucose tolerance test and other tests to determine that, in fact, yes, I had type 2 diabetes. Sadly, when he called me back into the exam room after several hours of waiting, my doctor took the typical 10 to 20 minutes to inform me of my new medical diagnosis of type 2 diabetes, and to my great relief, he prescribed an oral pharmaceutical and I did not have to inject insulin. I was so relieved. I remember thinking, this is not nearly as scary or as bad as I feared. After all I need to do now is take some pills every day and my life will be okay and back to normal. He then took a minute to recommend the American Diabetes Association diet plan and to schedule an appointment for next week for their registered dietitian at the hospital, and quickly ended our appointment with some oral pill prescriptions. Little did I understand the severity of my diagnosis and how it would change my life forever. Nor did I realize or understand the medical complications I would face in the coming years. If I truly understood type 2 diabetes diagnosis and the real definition of diabetes being a silent killer, I often wonder, what would I have changed? How bad would I have changed my lifestyle habits? After more than 30 years of suffering with type 2 diabetes and reviewing my life and times and facing death several times from type 2 diabetes complications, I am not sure, looking back, if I would have been able to change anything back then. Would I truly change my habits? Would I truly have done anything different? I don't know. Please comment below and let me know if you're going through something similar, and what do you think? Would you be able to change your habits truly over the next 30 years? Or would you kind of slide back to the way your habits were? If you enjoyed this video, got any positive value out of this video, please like and subscribe below. I really would appreciate it sincerely. Have a great day.